Hi there, my name is Bobby, and I'm going to tell you about the worst 16 years of my life. By the end of this story, you might think I'm a terrible person, but honestly, I don't care. What I did was what I had to do to survive, and maybe after hearing my story, you'll understand why. I grew up as the unwilling star of my parents' YouTube channel, Pranked by the Parents. For as long as I can remember, my life was just one horrible prank after another. My parents, Alfred and Evelyn, built their entire career around humiliating me on camera. What started as innocent pranks when I was 5 quickly escalated into psychological warfare that left me with scars I still carry today. Honey, get the camera. I just put hair removal cream in Bobby's shampoo bottle. This is going to get us so many views.
Make sure you zoom in on his face when he realizes. The crying always gets us more subscribers.
You did what? Am I going to go bald? That was one of their tamer pranks. I was 7 when that happened. I had to go to school completely bald while my parents uploaded the video of me sobbing in the bathroom. It got 3 million views. As I got older, the pranks became more elaborate and dangerous. When I was 10, they decided to prank me by pretending our house was on fire while I was sleeping. They pumped fake smoke into my bedroom and blasted fire alarm sounds through speakers they had hidden in my room. Mom, Dad, help me. I can't see anything. Keep rolling, Evelyn. Look at him panicking. This is gold.
Try the window, Bobby. Hurry.
I actually jumped out of my second-story window and broke my arm. The hospital staff were suspicious, but my parents had a perfect explanation ready. Our son is quite the sleepwalker. We tried to stop him, but he was so disoriented he just leapt out before we could grab him.
We're just thankful it wasn't worse. Kids, right?
They edited the video to make it look like they had caught me before I jumped, and that my arm was broken in a completely separate incident. That video got them 7 million of views and a sponsorship deal with a home security company. The irony wasn't lost on me. When I was 13, they pulled what I consider their most dangerous prank. They drugged my soda with something that made me extremely drowsy, and when I passed out, they carried me to our backyard pool and threw me in. The idea was to film my panicked reaction when I woke up underwater, gasping and choking. Wake up, kiddo. You're drowning.
The look on his face. This is going to break the internet.
I can't breathe. I nearly drowned that day. I actually had to be resuscitated by a neighbor who heard the commotion and ran over to help. My parents played it off as a prank gone wrong in a tearful apology video that actually boosted their subscriber count and earned them sympathy from their fan base. That video alone made them over $50,000 in ad revenue. After that incident, I realized my parents didn't see me as their son. I was just a prop in their twisted show. I was a walking, talking ATM for them. Every tear I shed, every scream of terror, every moment of humiliation was just more money in their pockets. I started plotting my escape when I was 15. I noticed that after particularly successful videos, my parents would count large amounts of cash and hide it somewhere in the house. One day, I pretended to be asleep on the couch and watched as they disappeared into the basement with a thick envelope. When they came back up, the envelope was gone. It took me weeks of careful searching when they were out of the house, but I finally found their stash. In a shoebox behind a loose brick in the basement wall was over $250,000 in cash. They didn't trust banks, probably because they didn't want to pay taxes on their YouTube income. I waited for the right moment. It came a month before my 16th birthday when they announced they were planning their biggest prank yet for my birthday. I overheard them discussing something involving me being blindfolded in the trunk of a car. That was the final straw. The next day, while they were meeting with some fellow prank YouTubers to collaborate, I took the money, packed a small bag with essentials, and disappeared. I left no note, no explanation. I just vanished. The first few months were the hardest. I found a small apartment in a city 3 hours away from my hometown. The landlord was skeptical about renting to a 16-year-old, but cash has a way of answering questions before they're asked. I enrolled in the local high school under a slightly altered name and kept my head down. I watched from afar as my parents milked my disappearance for all it was worth. They made tearful videos begging for my return. They started a Find Bobby campaign that went viral, all while raking in more money than ever before. I knew it was all an act. If they had really wanted to find me, they would have gone to the police, but that might have led to uncomfortable questions about why their son had run away in the first place. I graduated high school with honors and got accepted to a state university with a partial scholarship. I was careful with the money I had taken, but by then, I had also found a part-time job at a local bookstore that helped cover my expenses. I changed my appearance, grew my hair out, started wearing glasses I didn't need, and generally tried to look as unlike the boy from those YouTube videos as possible. For 3 years, I managed to stay hidden. I was in my junior year of college, studying psychology, ironically enough, when they found me. I was walking back to my apartment after a late study session when a car pulled up beside me. Well, look who we finally found.
Our little cash cow. Do you have any idea how much money you cost us by running away?
Leave me alone. I'm not your prop anymore. They followed me to my apartment building. As soon as we were inside, away from potential witnesses, they attacked. My father grabbed me by the throat while my mother punched me repeatedly. You stole $250,000 from us. Do you know how much content we could have created with you for 3 more years? Millions. You owe us.
You're coming home with us right now. We've already got a comeback video planned. Runaway Son Returns is going to break the internet.
Stop. Please stop hitting me. I'll come back. I'll help with the channel again. They finally stopped hitting me, and I slumped against the wall, tasting blood in my mouth. My mind was racing. I knew I couldn't go back to that life, but I also knew they wouldn't leave me alone now that they had found me. That's when an idea began to form. Actually, I have a better idea. Something that will get you way more views than just me coming back home. We're listening. What if we make a series about me being kidnapped all these years? I could pretend I've been held captive in a warehouse, and the series could be about my dramatic escape and reunion with you guys. People would eat that up.
That's actually not bad. The sympathy alone would be worth millions in ad revenue.
We'd need a good location, though. Somewhere that really looks abandoned and creepy. We should split up and scout locations. I'll look in the industrial district, and you guys check the docks. Whoever finds the perfect spot calls the others. They agreed to the plan, clearly excited about the potential viral success of such a series. I had no intention of finding a suitable location. Instead, I spent the day researching areas known for criminal activity. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for, an abandoned-looking warehouse that local news had reported suspicious activity around. I called my parents that evening. I found the perfect place. It looks completely abandoned, but it's still intact enough to be safe for filming. Here's the address. You should go check it out tonight and start setting up. I need to go home and get some clothes that look appropriately dirty and torn for someone who's been held captive. They eagerly took the address and headed out immediately. I went back to my apartment and waited. The call came at 2 a.m., not from my parents, but from the local police department. Is this Bobby Mitchell? Yes, speaking. I'm afraid we have some bad news. Your parents were found dead at an abandoned warehouse tonight. It appears they interrupted some kind of drug operation. They were both shot multiple times. I'm very sorry for your loss. I played the part of the shocked, grieving son perfectly. I told the police I had no idea why my parents would be at such a dangerous location. I explained that I hadn't seen them in years after running away from home due to their abusive behavior. The detective seemed sympathetic, especially after I showed him some of their YouTube videos. These videos, this is child abuse documented for entertainment. No wonder you ran away. Don't worry, we're not looking at you for this. The warehouse was a known drug manufacturing site for the Castillo cartel. Your parents were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Since I was their only living relative, I inherited everything. Their house, their savings, and ironically, the rights to their YouTube channel with its millions of subscribers. The house was fully paid off, and between their bank accounts and investment portfolio, I found myself with over $2 million in assets. Enough to finish college without working and still have plenty left over. I spent as little as legally required on their funeral arrangements. 2 plain caskets, no service, burial in the cheapest plots available, no headstones. They didn't deserve to be remembered. After graduating with my psychology degree, I wrote a book titled Pranked: Growing Up as YouTube's Unwilling Star. It detailed every humiliation, every dangerous situation, every moment of exploitation I had endured. The book became an instant bestseller and was eventually optioned for a movie. My parents had spent their lives making money off my suffering. In the end, I made my fortune by exposing them. For years, they had been celebrated as hilarious pranksters, creative content creators who pushed boundaries. Now the world knew them for what they truly were: abusers who exploited their own child for fame and fortune. Sometimes I think about what happened to them in that warehouse. Did they realize, in those final moments, that they had been pranked one last time? I'll never know. And honestly, I don't care. After 16 years of hell, I finally got the last laugh. Thanks for watching.